What is up, traders? My name is Chris, and welcome back to today's recap. And today we are switching it up. Usually I come on here and I break down the NASDAQ 100 futures, but this time we're putting the spotlight on the E-Mini S&P. That's right, the ES. And you may be asking yourself, why is he doing that? Because one of our subscribers reached out and said, actually one of our viewers reached out and said, hey, listen, man, I'm an ES scalper. How do these tools hold up on the S&P? So today we're answering that question live. So the setup today, guys, is going to be right here on the ES on a 2-minute chart. And this morning's session, it was highly cyclic, lots of clean turns, perfect playground for the dynamic duo. CYMO Pro gave us a smooth layout of structure, while ScalpMO drilled into those short bursts and price action. This was a textbook cycle rhythm, and if you knew how to read it, the opportunities were everywhere. So for today's recap, I'll be running the tape up until around 11 a.m. just to kind of give you a real feel for how these tools work in that early ES session, okay? And what you'll see today, guys, is you'll watch how CYMO with a fine-tuned setting on the ES helped us get anchored, filtering out the noise, showing us exactly where the market was cycling. And of course, ScalpMO down here, it gave us precise, confident entries for those tight turns without the chop, without the guesswork, all right? So that's what we're gonna be doing today, okay? And I'll tell you why this matters, all right? This matters, guys, because if you're scalping the ES or even day trading it, you know the S&P doesn't move like the NASDAQ. It's slower, it's subtler, but when it cycles, it's gold. So if you have the right read, and that's what today is about, guys, showing you how structure and cycle came together to give you the confidence to step in with precision. Because let's be honest, most traders get smoked on cycle days, okay? Not because they're bad, but because they're under-equipped. So enough with the talk, and let's go ahead and get right into this bad boy and play this at, I'm going to go at 8 times the speed of the market to see if it actually moves with the rhythm and see if we can spot any opportunities. Okay, so here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bingo. Here we go. Alrighty, guys, and this bad boy will begin right when it hits the 9:30 clock right here. Welcome, Mike. Welcome, Napper Z as well. And this will get started momentarily, guys, and you will see it as soon as it does here on the ES. Okay, I haven't done the ES in a while, to be honest with you. It's been probably a good 6 months since I featured the S&P on here. So it was a good refresher for someone to tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, man, can you feature it? So here you go. This is for you today. And I'd like to see, I started it at 8 times the speed of the market because I want to see how fast it moves since it's the ES. I don't want to overspeed it. I want to just kind of let it bounce around and do its thing. First bar of the day, guys, you guys know we don't take the first bar of the day. Okay, but let me pause it for a second and show you what is happening. I'll do that as soon as this bar closes right here, okay? There's something important right here on the chart, all right? So here you go. You sit at your desk, okay? You're got your setup all done, and now the market opens, okay? Third bar of the day, okay? How do you read what's going on here with CYMO and ScalpMO down here at the bottom? So remember the one thing I've told you guys in the past, hey, Fan City Bob, welcome back, man. Glad to have you. So remember what I've told you guys in the past, okay? Right out of the gate, and we're not using the 5-minute chart. We're not using anything else except the 2-minute right now to focus on what we're doing, all right? One of the things you want to do, guys, is look back. What happened the previous day, okay? Right here, how did the market close, okay? If you notice, on the ES, the market closed on a down note right here, okay? Momentum was falling. You had cycle had just gone up and it was completely falling right here. So if you're looking at this right there, okay, and now you're looking at what's happening here at the open, what is this telling you? This little bit is only painting a portion of the picture of what's happening in the current session today. But we have to step back and see, is this a continuation of something bigger? And is that something bigger important for us as traders to understand in order for us to make heads or tails of which way the market might go? Of course it is, okay? Because if you don't add context to what you're doing, then you're sort of trading blind, and we don't trade blind, guys. That's the reason we've got these tools, all right? So you take a step back before the market opens, okay? And you look at what's happening with cycle and momentum right here with CYMO, okay? You're gonna notice right there, count the cycles. Bingo, man. Exactly, going to the end of cycle 2. Absolutely, man, you absolutely nailed it. That's my boy, man. That's what I like to hear right there. Exactly, perfectly nailed it. Big shout out to Silent Noise for that. Right there, guys. You start counting the cycles because that's going to give you a very good feel as to whether or not there's going to be continuation to this, or if that's just going to end up being a fizzle right there. So here you go. Okay, if momentum is still all the way down here and you're looking at cycle coming down, it reasons to say that it all began right here. The moment that momentum sunk below the threshold and you started to see the beginning of cycle number 1 right here and the end of cycle number 1. So if cycle 1 began here and cycle 1 ended here, this is probably the commencement of cycle number 2, which it is. We know for a fact that it is. That's the commencement of cycle number 2. So if this is cycle number 2 and you're in bar number 3 right there, guys, and this bad boy's already going up, what is this telling you? Okay, this is telling you guys that you have a potential turn, an imminent turn to the upside. This is not a trade that you want to chase to the downside, okay? I can really, let me see, what is H saying? I can really see, but you're using, yeah, I am using a setting of 8 on it right there. And this is because this is the E-Mini S&P. So yes, it is a setting of 8, just in case you want to follow. That's what I have it set to right there. Yeah, and this also is the E-Mini S&P right there. So I tweaked it a little bit to adjust it for the chart. But yeah, if you're right there, guys, about 3/4 of the way with this cycle, I would not be looking to take downside at all. So let's see how this ends up rolling out and playing out right here, okay? I'd be very, very, very cautious. If anything, what do we know that happens after a trend, guys? After a trend, you normally get a cycle. Remember, you normally get cycles that precede trends, and you normally get cycles that follow trends, okay? After the trend is over. So if that's the case, and you've had the market selling off like this since yesterday's close, all right? And you have cycle number 2 just ending right there, this is probably a setup to go long, okay?
Order filled.
So I wouldn't mind taking a long right there, okay? Because you've got the purple line coming up, you've got cycle coming up right there, and chances are this is gonna take off right there. Cycle number 2 ended, really nice, smack dabby right there at the bottom, guys, okay? But look what happened here with ScalpMO. ScalpMO also told you, look, you're gonna get a reversal to the upside right here with the purple line coming up. Let's see how this all plays out, okay? And remember, this is, I'll repeat it 1,000 times because it'll, you know, some of you guys need to hear it 1,000 times, okay? Cycles precede trends, and cycles always follow trends, okay? So what ended up being a nice little trend to the downside right here, which ended at cycle number 2, all of a sudden now turns into a cycle to the upside, okay? So this whole thing right here is a cycle, and it's also in cycle territory inside your VWAP right here, all right? So, okay, we just had a crossing right there, guys. This would be a nice spot to take your profits.
Order filled.
and clip it right there. Okay, you've got two reasons why that happened right there. One is you had cycle just dip right there below the zero line, and you're in cycle territory as well. You had purple line right there also dip below the zero line. That's probably a good spot right there to take your profits and, you know, call it a day if you want right there. That was a nice trade right there, guys. That went from 55.33 all the way to 55.51 on the ES. And I don't know about you, but that's a fairly nice trade on the ES, okay? It definitely is this easy if you have the right tools and if you know exactly what you're looking for as far as the signals in the trades that you're taking, okay? So it doesn't have to be complicated. I think people complicate it more than it needs to because of the use of a lot of bad stuff and tools in the marketplace.
Order filled.
Okay? Here's a second trade, okay, guys, to the downside. Now, why did this trade come down right here? Okay, we're taking this trade because you're at the inflection point right here. Okay, smack daddy right there. This thing just overshot. You're at the inflection point. You've got the purple line below zero right there. Okay, and you've also got momentum falling from the top right there. Okay, and if momentum is falling from the top right there, guys, then there's a very good chance that this might come down. Let's see if I'm right. We're right there at the zero line at the 957 mark. So, oh, you know what? I will go ahead and
order filled.
Buy that sucker back right there. That's another $800. And that was a quick trade. Did you guys see that right there? Okay, and this is the moment it just popped above the zero line right there, guys. Oops, I don't know. It just didn't print. Hang on a sec. Right there, the moment it popped above the zero line, that's where it gave me this bar, and that's where we popped out of that trade. So that went from 55.49 all the way to 55.44 right there. So it caught that nice little trade right there to the downside. Not bad, guys. Not bad at all right there. Okay, let's see if we can find anything else right here to trade. We've got both of these spiking up. We've got this bad boy right here. A little bit too flat.
Order filled.
I'll take that to the upside. Okay, we have both cycle and momentum going up right there. We've got the purple line going up. That definitely is a long right there. Right there. Okay, let me just put that there. And we will clip this the moment that these bad boys kiss goodbye right there.
Order filled.
Right there, guys. That's it, okay? The moment that these two kiss goodbye, you've got the purple line all the way up here. That is good enough for me for a scalp right there, okay? And that's the official end of it with ScalpMO as well. Smack daddy right there, okay? So that's how that trade played out. And again, okay, check this out, guys. Purple line went up. You had a pivot with cycle and momentum. And remember, if you guys have heard me in the past, pivot trades are very short-lived, okay? Pivot trades are these trades that, you know, they sometimes work, they sometimes fizzle on you. This time it ended up working right here on a 2-bar pivot right here to the upside. You got in right there, right where you see the X and the buy bar right there, and you got out over here, okay? Nice little trade to the upside.
Wow, did you see that? That's what you call precision.
Not bad. Not a bad trade to the upside at all right there. Now, look at what happened right here, guys. It hit the top of the VWAP, okay? Hit the top of the VWAP and just bounced off the top right there. Look at what's happening here with cycle and with ScalpMO, okay? Cycle is actually going below the zero line right there, okay? That's what it's doing. It's just going right below the zero line, and you also have You've also got the purple line going below the 0 line right there too, all right? If you want to wait for the inflection point for this cyan line right here to actually hit this gray box, that will probably make a good entry point for a short. Okay, right there.
Order filled.
Okay. Right smack daddy there, okay? Let's see how this one plays out in a second. And look at what's happening right here, guys. You've got cycle is flat, momentum is coming down really nice right there. Your purple line is still below the 0 line right there. Not bad, not bad. Now, look at what's happening right here, guys. Okay, this is really, really important, okay? You've got momentum, which just blew through the bottom threshold right here, okay? Right at the same time, okay, right at the same time right here, okay, that you had a crossing of the 0 line with the purple line right there. But at the same time, you also had your cyan line come all the way down here to the edge, okay, pretty much almost crossing the gray box. Whenever you get this combination right here like this, guys, of the yellow line sinking either below the lower threshold or climbing above the red threshold up here, the 0.90, and you get a breakout of the cyan line either below the gray box or above the gray box, this is telling you that the move might continue, okay? And if the move might continue, then it might be worth waiting until this cyan line comes right back to the gray box here, or if it sinks below this 0.90 threshold right here and it hits the 0.90 and it tilts up right there, that's the end of the trade, guys. There's nothing else left to it right there at that point in time. That's your scalp, okay? Watch this right here. Watch the purple line and watch this cyan line right there as well, okay? That's going to tell you when to exit your trade right there, guys. That's
order filled
where you'd blow out of the trade, okay? And that would be the end of it right there for you.
Wow, did you see that? That's what you call precision.
Right there, guys. That was the end of it right there, okay? And that's how you scalp using ScalpMO and CYMO using these tools on the ES right there, okay? Just wanted to give you a nice little explainer right
order
there.
filled.
Here's something else that you might want to consider. This is coming up right there. You've got the purple line coming up, okay? I probably jumped into this trade a little bit too early. Yeah, I should have waited at least one more bar. I just looked at the purple line and I looked at this and I said, man, hot dog, I'm going to go ahead and take that trade to the upside. But in reality, okay, I should have waited for the extra bar to confirm that cycle and momentum were also rising as well. Okay, that's the correct way to do it right there. Okay, cycle and momentum start to rise, okay, and you start taking this bad boy in the opposite direction. Now look at what happened here with the VWAP, guys. Price hit the top, it did an about face, came all the way back down, hit the bottom support, did an about face, now it's going back up. Amazing how that works. Now look at what's happening here, guys. CYMO is telling you that this cycle rotation is about to be over, and it's pretty much over.
Order filled.
Right there, guys. Okay, gave you a 1 bar advance notice that, you know, price was about to turn right there, and Sure enough, the moment the purple line came below the zero line right there, that was it, guys. Okay, that was it. Okay, price looks like it's going to stall, and we'll see what's going to happen. The ES is a nice slow mover, guys. It's a really good instrument to trade with these tools, especially when the market is cycling. It is really, really good. I happen to like it. I don't trade it personally, but I just do like it. So price really isn't moving. It's really not going anywhere right here. It's just kind of stuck. You can tell right here, look, not going anywhere. Can this be used on? Yes, it can. It can be used on any instrument that is tradable on the NinjaTrader platform. Even Forex. So there's nothing going on. So we just had a little pivot right here. Let's see what happens with this pivot trade. I'll be a cowboy. I don't encourage this, but I'll do a little pivot trade right there. You guys just saw how this pivoted up, okay? And remember, pivot trades are very, very short-lived, okay? And so we'll see if there's any meat on the bone on this bad boy. The moment that cycle and momentum cross right there, or we get a crossing of the purple line below zero, I am out of that trade right there. Okay, so that wouldn't be a bad scenario right there to go ahead and get out of that trade. Let me just go ahead and put a little arrow right there, and
order filled.
You're done, guys, right there. Okay, this bad boy came below the zero line right there. You're done. That is it right there. And let's see what happens right here at the VWAP as well, okay? Amazing how it hit the top of the VWAP right here. Smack daddy, boom. And now it's coming down. Amazing how that works, guys. Okay. Alrighty, guys.
Wow, did you see that? That's what you call precision.
All right, I'll go ahead and pause it right there for you guys to see. Now check out the trajectory of price right here, guys. Okay. Came down, came all the way up, hit the top of the VWAP. Smack daddy, that bad boy came all the way down, hit the bottom support, and came all the way up, hit the top. Now it's retracing to go down again, guys, okay? Right here with CYMO, it perfectly caught cycle number 2. Remember, guys, that cycle number 2 just didn't appear out of nowhere. It was a continuation of a trend that began the previous day at the close of the market. If you notice, this began at 1600 on Monday afternoon, okay? Price started to fall right there. It went into trend mode. We started to count our cycles, not from here, but from the beginning of the trend right here. So if this is cycle 1, it reasons to say that this is the beginning of cycle 2, and this is the end of cycle 2 right here. This alone, guys, will give you a clear roadmap to not chase price to the downside, because you know at the end of cycle 2, you typically have a reversal to the upside. If this was your trend component of price, what typically follows a trend? A cycle, right? So if it's going to be a cyclic trade to the upside, then obviously, you know, it's going to rotate and move up. And sure enough, it rotated, it moved up, it went right back into cycle territory right here, and it bounced around all morning long right here. Look at this, guys. Perfect setup right there. Very nice cyclic morning in today's session right there. All right. So I'm going to take this chart and post it on the chart recap channel for you guys to look at and for you guys to download and compare to any other tools that you guys might be currently using. Okay. The 7-day test drive, guys, it's still free, still on the table. You want to test drive this for yourself? No problem. We'll give you CYMO, ScalpMO, the dynamic VWAP, PureMO, access to our daily briefing bot, okay, plus 2 free one-on-one calls to help you dial everything in, guys, to make sure you're not flying blind, okay? All of it free for 7 days. Click the link in my bio and take the trial. You have absolutely nothing to lose and possibly the edge that you've been looking for.